9. A message for the last generation. Gabriel's tone shifted once more, no longer thunderous, no longer mysterious, but now urgent and intimate. The angel knew what Daniel did not yet fully understand. The prophecies he had received would reach far beyond his time, beyond the Medes and Persians, beyond Rome, even beyond Christ's first advent. Gabriel began to speak about the final generation, those living in the moments just before the close of Earth's history. Many shall be purified, made white, and tried, he declared. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Daniel's heart stirred. The visions were for them, for those who would walk through the darkest night with a torch of prophecy in hand. These people would not have the advantage of prophets walking among them. They would not see burning bushes or angelic handwriting on palace walls, but they would have the writings of Daniel, and those writings would become a beacon of light in an age of deception. The scroll that was once sealed would guide them. The time prophecies, the warnings, the promises, these would anchor the remnant when the earth trembled beneath them. Gabriel described the final generation with stunning clarity. They would face a world intoxicated by false worship. Nations would unite to enforce a counterfeit day of rest. Miracles, signs, and wonders would mislead the masses. But this remnant would not be deceived. Their foundation would be sure, rooted in the law of God and the testimony of Jesus. Their understanding of Daniel's visions would make them wise, not worldly wise, but spiritually sharp. They would recognize the beast, identify the mark, and cling to the seal of the living God. These were not extraordinary people by human standards. They were humble, prayerful, and faithful. Like Daniel, they would fast, pray, and seek understanding. They would turn from sin and walk in obedience. While the world laughed and mocked, they would persevere. While others bowed, they would stand. While the wicked cursed, they would bless. And through their faith, heaven would be honored again. Gabriel emphasized that the key to survival in the last days would not be brute strength or political influence. It would be discernment. The wise shall understand, not the scholars, not the proud, the wise, those who fear the Lord and walk in his truth. The book of Daniel would not just be read, it would be lived. It would guide decisions, inform worship, and fuel courage in the face of death. Daniel's life, once lived in the courts of Babylon, would be repeated in the lives of God's end-time witnesses. This image would show a line of modern-day believers standing firm as chaos swirls around them, nations rioting, economies crashing, false miracles dazzling the sky. Yet in their hands are open Bibles, and over their hearts glows the seal of God. Above them, the figure of Daniel shines faintly in the clouds, his hand pointing toward Gabriel's scroll. Gabriel looked Daniel in the eyes with a final warning laced with compassion. From the time that the daily is taken away and the abomination of desolation is set up, there shall be 1,290 days. These cryptic numbers would challenge the minds of many, but the wise would study and understand. Each time prophecy, each coded number, was part of a divine calendar pointing toward the final confrontation between truth and error. As Daniel absorbed it all, he knew his work would not be finished in his lifetime, but it would live on. Copied, preserved, studied. And when the last generation rose to meet the final test, Daniel's words would be their compass. His prophecies would be their lifeline. And heaven would smile, knowing the race that Daniel began would be finished by a people just as faithful.